I'm John Houtler-McCoy, and I'm one of the co-technical directors for the Milwaukee Repertory Theater.
Hi, I'm Sean Walters, and I'm the other co-technical director for Milwaukee Rep Theater.
It is a contractor for theater scenery.
I would say it's a theatrical engineer.
Sean's really great to bounce off ideas. It's really easy to just go to him and talk through a challenge or kind of brainstorm new ideas.
I find my favorite thing, and I agree with you on that, but you're very calm and composed, and I find myself bouncing around a little bit more. So I rely on you to be kind of the calm river of the partnership here. I would say it's the first time you see a complicated piece of machinery that you've been working on in a computer on the floor. Suddenly it moves and it does it correctly. And until that point, it's all just been theory. And now you suddenly get to see it actually. It's like a kid, I guess. I don't have any kids, so I have a cat. It's like a cat.
I think my favorite part of the job is when the scenery gets applause. It doesn't happen often, and it definitely doesn't happen every show. But when you have those reveals where either there's a really complicated scenic movement or the curtain comes up and all you see is scenery and the audience applauds, that's my favorite part.
I would work for John in a heartbeat. I would love to be, just like, what do I do, John? What do I do? So, but I feel like he's got this management capability. He would be a fine production manager, and I could totally see that happen.
I think I'd put Sean in marketing. I think he can really he can spin a tale quite nicely, and he's really social. So I think he can definitely go out and talk to the community and drum up business. Sean's.
Mine.
We like to play count the coffee cups on Sean's desk.
Yes, and for the most part, all of them have coffee in them. I drink several a day. I think it's me, although you can make a case for it.
It's a close tie. We show up. We both show up every morning with coffee in hand. So.
And we call each other beforehand on a regular basis when we're getting coffee to make sure the other one has some. That's the partnership you want. Bears.
Packers all the way. I have a Packers construction hard hat.
And I'm just an old Northern Illinois kid, so I have to stay, even though yes, I hate the Bears just as much as I love them.
So the project, Things I Know to Be True, we first started working on it probably in like March or so prior to the production. And we received a white model of the set. So it's just a quick 3D representation of what the designer's going for. And it involved this massive tree that was growing out of a deck. And the design was so beautiful. It was done by Scott Davis, and my first thought was, we have to build this. We can't go away from this. We can't cut this piece because it was so interesting. And then my second thought was, how the heck do we build it? So from that point on, then I went ahead and I estimated how much it was going to cost. And at that point in time, I had no idea how exactly we were going to build it. So I just had to allot a certain amount of money for it. Fast forward 6 months, and Sean joined the team, and we became co-technical directors, and he was going to be the lead on that project. So I handed off my cost estimation of the show and kind of all the assumptions that I had made, all the discussions that I had with the designer and the production team, and kind of put that all on Sean's desk and said, here you go, buddy. It's your time to take it on from here. And so it was an interesting project in that way, that I did the kind of the very front end stuff, and then Sean was the one that took it into reality as far as what are the actual materials that we're going to use.
Do you remember what your idea was? I do.
I went through a couple different ideas, but I was thinking of either like foam with a aluminum skeleton, is kind of what I had based my cost off of, because I knew that that was going to be the most expensive version of things.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't have any time to R&D anything prior to Sean showing up anyways, just from working on, because that was when we were doing In the Heights as well. So I was focused on that show because it came before it.
And your idea was achievable. I think we could have made that work. It was a foam encapsulated aluminum core, and the problem here is it has to take twists and turns. And I was really happy to be presented with that idea. But it was one of my earliest shows, and I kind of wanted to find out if I could do it a way that hadn't been thought of. And one way we looked at it was maybe taking a regular board, because it had to look like deck boards coming out of this deck. And we tried maybe just cutting a board and taking it on a weird, roller coaster axis, and it didn't work. And then we tried like maybe that composite board that you would use for decks a lot nowadays. You see a lot in picnic tables, and that did not work. It broke. And so we moved on to a PVC type material that they use for exterior decking that you can heat. And then it will take a form, and then when it cools, it will keep it, which meant that we had to build an oven out of industrial blankets. So luckily, when John budgeted the thing, he gave me enough money available that we could run through these ideas. And the gentlemen in our shop, if we haven't mentioned it, are geniuses. And they were helpful in creating an industrial heater for this product that we could then twist it. And then we gave them the model, and them as artisans as well as carpenters were able to create all of these twists and turns as close as they could to the model that we were given. And it also had to ship to Arizona. So it had to break apart and be put back together, which in a lot of cases can be done a bajillion different ways. And we did a bolting system, and we were lucky enough to have the people from Arizona come to visit us. And something we spoke of yesterday, which I really enjoyed, was at a certain point we had to put leaves on it. And the only leaves we could get in time were, I think it was listed as an oak, and we could get maple leaves. So I actually was able to walk into the dramaturgy department of the theater and ask, because it was an original script that had only been produced once or twice before, and I was able to ask if we could change the leaves in the script to match the leaves that we could get. And that actually happened. And it's just one of those weird little things where, did we change the play to match the scenery? We did. And I've never seen it happen before or since, but it's a nice little bit of trivia.